Start.
Yeah. Good afternoon to one and all present here. Today, we, the member of Group 4, have come up with our first manual learning assignment of General English, and the topic is storytelling. Next slide. These are our team members: Apurva Singh, Chirag B, Divya Adaranandi Majumdar, Vineet R, Anushka C, Ruchir Kumar, Maurya KV, Sarvagya Singh, and Chaman Raj. Okay. Uh, so just a second, so it doesn't glitch my mobile phones. Okay. What is storytelling? Storytelling, as simple as it sounds, is about telling stories. It's about engaging with a large audience by way of storytelling to make something more clear. Another way of storytelling is via photos and films. Stories have been a medium of communication. Before people learned how to write, they would tell each other stories. Over to the Chirag.
Salvatore by Somerset Maugham is a short story that has the ability to charm the reader through its simplicity. Towards the end of the story, his simple ambition is revealed of holding the reader's attention for a few pages while he draws the portrait of an ordinary man posing the rare virtue of goodness. Now let's see the character description, starting with Salvatore. Salvatore is a 15-year-old teen who has a pleasant face and he happily takes care of his family. He was a responsible husband and an affectionate father. Salvatore's mother is maternally concerned towards her children. She keeps the family together and she fuels their needs and she always knows what's best for her family. Salvatore's beloved is a girl from Granda Marina and she's pretty. She has eyes like forest pole and she held herself like a daughter of Caesar's, which also portrays that she's narcissistic. Asunta. Asunta is very caring towards her children and husband. She possesses great emotional quotient and strong feelings, and she's often established to be tender. Salvatore's younger brothers are a little nasty and they're constantly in need of supervision and care. Being the youngest in the family makes them repel against responsibilities. Salvatore's two kids are presumably tender and lovely. They are brought up with utmost care, love, and which makes them a little extremely sensitive. Moving on.
Salvatore was 15 years old, the eldest son of an Italian fisherman. He had a pleasant face and happily took care of his two younger brothers. He spent his morning lying on the sea beach and used to swim effortlessly in the sea where his father used to catch fish. As Salvatore grew, he fell in love and was betrothed to a girl who lived in the Grande Marina. The girl was pretty and had beautiful eyes. The Salvatore left home for military services to become a sailor in the navy of King Victor Emmanuel. He felt nostalgic and missed the islands of Ischia and Vesuvius, which he now realized were parts of his life as important as his hands and legs. Salvatore now grew homesick, and above all this, he missed his fiancée, the girl he is engaged to the most. In service, Salvatore was sent to many places like Spezia, Venice, Bari, and China. He fell ill when he was in China, and as he was suffering from rheumatism and was considered unfit for further services. Salvatore did not mind his illness and rather felt happy to return his own home. He was eager to meet his family and fiancée. On his return, he was emotionally welcomed by his parents and brothers with great deal of kissing and cry of joy. But Salvatore was looking for his girl in the crowd, but but she wasn't there. When he went to her house, she was sitting with her mother at the doorstep. They had already received the news of his illness and learned that he would never be quite well again, would never be strong enough to work like a man. So his fiance's mother bluntly told him that her daughter could not marry him now. This was a heartbreak for Salvatore, but he did not blame the girl. One day, Salvatore's mother told him about Asanta, a girl older than him, who had seen him at a festival, fallen in love with him, and wanted to marry him. Though at first he denied, on his mother's advice, he got married to Asanta and settled down to a tiny house in the middle of a vineyard. Later, they had two children, both boys. Salvatore had to work hard to earn a living. He used to catch cuttlefish at night. He also used to work in his vineyard the whole day. His romanticism often took its toll on him. He would then settle down on the beach with pain racking his limbs, but never did he utter any wrong word for anyone. Never did he blame anyone for anything in his life. Salvatore was responsible husband as well as an affectionate father. At times, he gave his children a bath and he held them like they were flowers. Finally, the author comes back to where he started. He reminds us that he wanted to keep us alternative throughout his narration and was successfully done. Maugham depicts the character Salvatore as a man who possessed nothing but an invaluable quality, the rarest, the most precious, and the loveliest that anyone can have, the quality of goodness. Here is a small video which we want to represent.
The author has known Salvatore since the latter was a boy of 15. He is described as a person with a pleasant face, laughing mouth, and carefree eyes. He never wears shoes except on Sundays. He has two younger brothers and is very protective of them. Salvatore falls in love with a girl who lives on the Grande Marina. They are soon engaged. However, he is obliged to complete his military service. Soon enough, he joins the navy of King Victor Emmanuel as a sailor. Salvatore is miserable during his tenure with the navy. His tenure takes him to Spezia, Venice, Bari, and China. In China, he contracts rheumatism of some kind. It confines him to bed for several months. When he returns to Naples, he sees his family waiting eagerly at the shore. He doesn't see his fiancée. In the evening, Salvatore decides to go and see her in person.
So, have you received the letter I wrote to you saying that I was coming home?
Yes, we have. The island boys told us that you are ill.
Yes, that is why I am back. Is it not a piece of luck?
Oh, but we have heard that you will never be quite well again.
Well, you know how the doctors keep saying such things. But I really feel that I will make a speedy recovery now that I am home.
Salvatore, look, I don't think I can marry someone who will never be strong enough to work like a man. We have made up our mind, Papa, Mama, and I. My father will never consent to me marrying you.
I understand.
A few months later, he is a settled man working in his father's vineyard. Salvatore's mother tells him that a girl named Assunta wants to marry him. They are soon married. They settle down in a small house with a big vineyard. Salvatore becomes a big, husky fellow, tall and broad. He still has those trusting, kindly eyes that he had as a boy. Assunta grows into a woman with a grim visage and looks older for her years. However, she is good at heart and is a doting wife. Soon enough, they become parents to two boys. Salvatore, despite his ill health, works very hard to earn his livelihood. Whenever rheumatism makes it painful to work, he lies about the beach smoking and being nice to strangers, notwithstanding the terrible pain. The author concludes Salvatore's story with a description of his laugh and a statement about the similarity of the eyes of Salvatore and his child.
Next comes the theme. The main theme of the story is love and affection, being separated by his family and his lover, and being affected by rheumatism and not being able to work because of his illness. Next slide. The language used is the author Somerset Maugham uses a very simple narrative style for the story. It is written from a third person's point of view, with the protagonist being the titular character Salvatore. The story is actually a biographical sketch of the protagonist, main character Salvatore, in chronological order. The writer has not used a lot of direct speeches as we see in most short stories, rather, relies on narration of the event. The economy of word with the strategic use of imageries, similes, and metaphors reveal more by saying less. Over to Richard.
A parable is a short fictitious story that is presented to teach a religious principle, simple truth, or moral lesson. Now we have some examples of the parables of Jesus that are parable of the hidden treasure, parable of the pearl, parable of the lost son. The character depicted in the short story is static. The author shows the character Salvatore as an example of pre-radiance and goodness, and he also depicts the way that every human should deal with life. And if there is anything mentionable about the style, then that would be the beginning and the end of the story are somewhat uncommon, as the author directly communicates to the reader to say that he just tried to see whether he could hold our attention for a while, as he went on to draw the portrait of a man named Salvatore. Over to Salvatore.
Message. The short stories always conveys the message of goodness. The story is in such a way that it portrays the quality of the good character, which the writer calls the rarest and the most precious one that anyone can have. This shows the love of both the brothers in the story. It gives us message that in whichever condition, we need to accept our life as the way it is. Over to Adhara.
Now coming to the conclusion part, storytelling has become a popular method used in a variety of fields and industries. Not only artists, journalists, and educators, but also the marketing and advertising industry take advantage of this method, conveying their message and information in narrative form. Storytelling also helps with learning because stories are always easy to remember. Salvatore is a beautiful story. It's about a young Italian man who joins the Navy but is sent home when he develops rheumatism. Because of his illness, the girl he loved will no longer marry him. Salvatore marries another woman and becomes a loving husband, devoted father, and a hardworking fisherman. The narrator says that this story is all about to show the readers that a man who possesses the most important quality a person can have, that is goodness. Thank you for listening to us so patiently. Thank you once again.
Good. Now I hope you understand the importance of videos. So you utilize the time. Instead of narrating the summary, you just showed it in videos. Good presentation, all of you. So what to do, you go through, you watch this video again and look about your body language, look at your body language, how you present it, and see whether you can modify or not. Okay, good work, all of you.